Good morning. Time to make the coffee. So early morning coffee time is one of my favorite times of the day. It's quiet for the most part, and it's just relaxing. And that first cup of coffee is always the best. So today it's going to be 81 degrees, partly cloudy, but tomorrow we're supposed to get some rain, which makes me happy because it'll make my plants happy. We haven't had rain in a very long time. I think we have a bit of a drought going on. So I'm looking forward to the rain, and then I can do some things inside and not feel like I need to be outside doing something. So, do you guys like rainy days? I do. I mean, I don't like weeks of it, but, a few days in a row is fine. I enjoy rainy days and just cuddling up with some coffee and if it's cool, a nice blanket and relaxing, or getting some things done, like decluttering or organizing or just a little cleaning. All of the above are very relaxing to me. So today, I won't be doing too much gardening, even though I'd like to plant a few carrots and things like that. But I'm going over my daughter's this morning to babysit her puppy who just got spayed yesterday. So little Nova had to be spayed because she has a male dog, and she didn't want any problems, and they're different breeds. The male is a cane corso, and that's our Mac. We call him Moo Man because he moos when he's happy, and little Nova is a shepherd. So it was time. But I don't know, I always feel bad when you have to do things like that, but there's so many homeless animals in the world that it's a necessity. So anyway, life goes on and we do what we have to do. And I have 2 girls and a boy, of course. Now my 2 girls, they're all rescue dogs. And my 2 girls were spayed when I got them. The rescue that oversees these dogs, they have them spayed. Now, Bandit, he's still intact because he doesn't run, he doesn't do any of that stuff. So it hasn't been a problem so far. And I've had my dogs for 9 years, and God, I can't believe it's 9 years already. Time goes by so fast, and the older you get, the faster it goes. So I guess if we have to learn something or do something as we get older, we better get it done. All right, let's try the coffee. I'm looking forward to the first sip. Cheers. Ah, yes. Very good. So, okay, I've got a few things I have to do this morning before I go to my daughter's. Since it's going to be 81 degrees, I probably should water a little bit and get going. All right, but I will take you to the budget book before I go. Okay, back at the budget book. So yesterday I didn't spend any money. I stayed home. So one more green check mark. And gosh, I can't believe I've been tracking this for almost 6 months now. So far, I think I've done okay, but I could do better. I could spend less. The garden really cost me the most so far. I mean, other than, like Christmas time and birthday times. But there's certain things in life that you spend money on. You know, what's the point of having money if you don't spend it sometimes too on things that give you pleasure? As long as you don't overdo it, it's fine. I mean, I've never been a huge saver, but I think especially as we get older, and if we can afford it, we should allow ourselves a few pleasures. At least that's my opinion. But constantly hauling things into your house isn't a good idea because, especially as you get older, you can't take care of all of it. It just becomes a burden. It's a pleasure when you first buy it. It's like, oh, I got a shiny new toy. But then, you know, after a while, the shiny new toy loses its appeal and it becomes a burden. Something else you have to take care of. So, overdoing it with the spending, in my opinion, isn't a good idea. And that is speaking from experience because, especially with clothes, oh my gosh, I used to always buy clothes and clothes and clothes. And now that I'm older and I stay home most of the time, you know, you're stuck with all this stuff. Now, fortunately, there are a lot of people that can use your clothes once, you know, if you take care of them. So clothes are easy to get rid of, but I find that other things are harder, like furniture and, you know, the bigger things. So I've been thinking about, and I don't know if I'm going to do this or not, but I've been thinking about getting rid of some of the dining room furniture that I have because even though family comes over, you know, for holidays and birthdays and things like that, we all congregate around my kitchen table. So the dining room doesn't really get used, and I don't really entertain anymore. And as far as, you know, having friends for dinner and stuff, because if we get together, we usually get together at a restaurant and we hang out for a couple of hours and then we go home. So that way, you know, you don't have a big mess to clean up. And so I've really been thinking about getting rid of a lot of my dining room things and just having that room more open. Now that's my plant room, so there's a lot of plants in there and they're going to continue to stay there because I like that, especially in the winter time when it's snowing and cold and, you know, it brings a little bit of the outdoors inside. So I enjoy that. But, and as far as the furniture in there, I don't know. I'm giving it serious thought. So with my house, I could easily live on the first floor because I have a bathroom here, my laundry is here, my kitchen, the dining room, and the living room. Those are the rooms that I live in. Mostly it's the kitchen and the living room. Like I said, the dining room, not so much. But, you know, as you get older, you can think about what areas of my home do I use. And if you don't want to sell your house and downsize, you could maybe close off some rooms in your house and, you know, get rid of most of the furniture in that area and just make it easy to clean without actually having to move. So that's kind of what I would like to do. Now I have a craft room where actually my grandson stays in there. It's a craft room / guest room. So I haven't been doing much crafting or painting, but I want to get back to that maybe this winter after the garden. But and then I also turned one of my bedrooms into a plant room where I want to grow plants in the veggies and stuff in the winter time. So, you know, I don't know, but I could get rid of a lot of the other furniture in that room because it has a bed and, you know, desks because it was also my office. But I really don't need an office anymore. I have a desk in my living room with my laptop. That's all I need. So rethinking the configuration of your home might be an answer to downsizing without actually moving to a smaller place if your house still works for you. So that's kind of the path that I'm going to pursue, and we'll see how that goes. So, all right, I need to get going, start getting ready to go babysit my granddoggy. Okay, time to use up some food from my fridge. So here I have a cabbage that's been in there for a very long time that I need to use up. I have a little bit of homemade like pizza tomato sauce that I need to use up. I have a little tiny bit of rice, and I have a little piece of not meatloaf left that I made a few days ago. So these all need to be used up. So what I'm going to do today is make a deconstructed cabbage, stuffed cabbage. So I think that'll be good, and I'll use up all these little bits and pieces of leftovers. So using up what I have, going back to cooking from the refrigerator, freezer, and pantry. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little bit of butter in the pan. If you're vegan, use some vegan butter. But since I'm vegetarian, I do eat butter, or sometimes I do eat vegan butter. It depends on what I have. And this butter was on sale around the holidays, so I stocked up. So, first thing I'm going to do is saute this cabbage, let it cook for a little bit, probably add a little bit of water to it, and then I'm going to add the tomato sauce and the rice and some of the meatloaf. Now I'm not going to use this all because I can actually get a couple more meals out of this, and I want to have maybe a sandwich. The other day I had like a meatball kind of sandwich also with the sauce, and I put Italian cheese on it on a hoagie roll, and that was really good. And I've been eating sandwiches with this. So, you know, if you have meatloaf, you can stretch it a very long time. Now with this cabbage, I'm probably going to make some cabbage and noodles at some point, and I'm probably also going to make some coleslaw out of it. And this cabbage is enough for me for at least 5 meals, if not more. And if you look, if I were to put this in water, these are all like little cabbage nubs that I could grow, and you know, these will grow some, and I mean, you're not going to get a head of cabbage, but they'll grow and then you can eat them. So it's a way to stretch your cabbage. So okay, I'm going to go ahead and saute this up. And I'm going to cook this until it's tender, because this is really the only thing that isn't cooked. Everything else is cooked. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of this complete seasoning. And you can get that at the Dollar Tree, but I've seen it other places too. And I'm going to add some onion and garlic powder, but you add whatever spices you like. That's the nice thing about cooking. You can add whatever flavors you like. So sometimes what I do is I try and find out what the magic ingredients are of something, and then I just go ahead and recreate them. So okay, I'm going to go ahead and cook this up. I'll probably have to end up putting a little bit of water in here, but we'll see. And that'll be a delicious meal. You can eat that with a piece of bread or just plain. So with the meat, I'm just going to cut a piece and chop it up a little bit and mix it in with the rice. But like I said, everything is already cooked except the cabbage. So I'll be back when this is all done. Okay, the cabbage is browning nicely. I'm going to add a little water. And I'm going to scrape up all these nice little bits and let it cook a little longer. It's getting tender. And you can cook it as tender as you like. If you like it crunchy, then, you know, cook it less. So I'll let that cook for a minute, and then I'm going to add the rice and the tomato sauce. And the last thing I'm going to add is the nut meatloaf. Now this has a little bit of Parmesan cheese in it, which is fine. It goes nicely with the cabbage. I'm going to add a little tiny bit of water to this to clean it out. I don't want to dilute it, but I do want to get all that tomato out of there. Alright, now I'm going to let that cook down a little bit. And I'm going to also add the rice, and this is just plain old rice that I did season it when I cooked it, and this was what was left. I used it for a few other dishes. So if you need to stretch your food budget, cook extra pasta, extra rice, extra carbs, basically. Stretch your meals with bread. So I'm going to let this cook down a little bit, and I'll be back. Okay, this is thickened up nicely. I've been cooking it for 5-6 minutes. And now I'm going to add the chopped up nut meatloaf. And I'm just going to heat this through. And I'm making some toast. So everything should be done around the same time. And that will be for another meal. So if you like stuffed cabbage and you don't want to bother with all the work that goes into rolling your cabbages and stuff, make a deconstructed stuffed cabbage. Another thing that you can do is use stuffed peppers and make, instead of using cabbage, make it with peppers. So easy peasy meal, and I think that looks pretty delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and serve this up, and I'll be back. Alright, I'm going to butter my toast. And And I'm going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese while it's still hot and call that dinner. So when I was over my daughter's today, poor puppy, of course, you know, she just got spayed, so she's got to wear the cone of shame. And she runs into everything. People, chairs, walls. Poor baby. But it's a good thing she's still sort of a little bit groggy because she's pretty active. So she really needs to be kept kind of calm so she doesn't hurt herself. But yeah, she was pretty animated when I first got there, but then she kind of crashed. Thank God, because I don't think I could have chased her around for, 2.5 hours. So, okay, that's it. That's dinner for tonight. So I used up all my leftovers. So even if you have little tiny bits of food, you can use it up. You can put Parmesan cheese on here too if you want. All right, let me give this a taste. There it is. That's really good. And if you wanted to, you could even make it a combination of cabbage and peppers. That would be good. You put onions in there, whatever you have. So I'm going to go ahead and eat. And this is really good. And it was no work at all. Hot. So, all right, my friends. That's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you. And I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching.